50% of energy use in North America goes in from buildings into the operating and manufacturing of buildings, and only 28% from transportation. We don't talk about it enough, but it's a huge, huge portion of our energy consumption. When it comes to greenhouse gases, it's almost the same. Almost half of our greenhouse gas emissions are from the building industry. And again, it's not talked about enough. And when you look at the carbon footprint of buildings, the majority of it today is in heating and cooling. It's in the power and energy to operate the buildings. But we're getting better at making our buildings more and more energy efficient and using more efficient devices and insulating our buildings better. And so we're doing a better job of reducing our heating and cooling demands, which is great. But about 30% of the greenhouse gases are actually just the embodied energy and greenhouse gas in the material that you build with. And most people don't realize that when it comes to carbon dioxide, these are the percentages of CO2 made by man, or greenhouse gases made by man on Earth. About 1.6 comes from the airline industry, 3% from shipping, but 5 to 8% is just from concrete alone. And it's not from the concrete, it's actually the making of cement, heating it up and so forth, has a huge footprint. And obviously that's roads, but a big part of that's buildings. And when it comes to steel, it's about 4%, and about 4% of world energy goes into steel. These are both great materials, but we have to use less of them. Because unlike steel and concrete, wood is a material that sequesters carbon. During its life as a tree is growing, it's taking in carbon dioxide, giving back oxygen to the atmosphere and holding on to that carbon. If it falls to the forest floor and rots, it's going to give it back to the atmosphere. But if you take that piece of wood and put it into a building or into a piece of furniture and into a toy, it's going to hold on to that carbon for its life. And our two solutions to start talking about how to reduce our climate impact are to reduce our emissions and to find ways to store carbon. And wood does both. And it's the only material I can build with as an architect that does both those two things, only major material.